Welcome back, everyone. Hope you all have found reasons to be happy lately, especially in such a hard world we're living in currently. Thank you for tuning in to the Reasons to Be Happy podcast. In my first intro episode, I talked about me, Sebastian, the Ideacatcher himself. I spoke about my childhood struggles in discovering and understanding true happiness, yet I only touched on subjects briefly. There was still a lot more I wanted to add. Growing up was hard, especially with having a learning disability and weight issues that I had to overcome. Also, dealing with bullies while at the same time trying to discover who I was like balancing a feather and a block of steel on a teeter-totter. Things seemed to feel impossible to balance, but I eventually learned how to manage it. And that was around my senior year of high school back in 2017. In this episode, though, I'll be diving deep down into the nitty-gritty, and I will talk more about how I struggled to make friends and how I met my first best friend, Jonas, discussing how not having many friends personally affected my ability to reach happiness throughout my childhood, and how I changed my mindset on friends as I discovered I'm an oddball with socializing. I'm an introverted extrovert, or an extroverted introvert, whatever you want to call it. And then I'll discuss my current situation with friends and how my day-to-day life as an adult has changed my friendships and has made me more of an introverted person with other priorities, as I now have bills and taxes to pay with these high inflation rates. But through thick and thin, I still manage to stay happy and keep a smile. And that's what we'll talk about in today's podcast. So yeah, just starting off. Sorry for all the sounds around. It's just been kind of a breezy day, so that, I was working on trying to find the best position where to put the microphone. It was kind of hard, and also had horses, whining for food, so we fed them, and then cats all around meowing. You probably still hear Mandy. He's a great kitty, but he meows like all the time. He's a funny boy. But anyways, continuing the show. Just to start out the podcast here, continuing what I first off was going to talk about in general. But so life was hard for me socializing. I wasn't really a social person, and I don't really know why that is. It was more so like I don't really know. It just started out being one of those things. I think it might have been because of my learning disability kind of made it hard for me to make friends. So I kind of just, my best friend at first was myself. And it sounds really selfish, but I kind of had to make it work because let's let this plane go by. It's really loud. We're right next to a, what do you call it? Airport, so we hear planes all the time. It's really odd because you just hear the sound before the plane leaves. So like the sound's delayed, because sound is slower than light. But like you hear the sound and it's like way delayed before the plane is. If that makes any sense. Can't really explain that well. But anyways, yeah. So let me actually formulate my sentence here. Yeah, so growing up, I struggled to make friends, and of course that was definitely due to my anxiety that was caused from me being scared of being rejected as a little kid because I was so overweight, and I always overthought about what people, would think about me, or I would just overthink things and just think like maybe I'm not, it's not worth trying to make friends with these people because I'm overweight, and maybe they'll just make fun of me, because you always have your guard up. And I think that's just how it kind of started. And through elementary school, like I was just bullied. I actually was bullied, a few times, but I think from that process it kind of put me in my own little bubble, and I always just expected that it would just be that way. But that's not always the case, because not everyone's like that, Sorry about the planes. Here's another big one. Big giant jet flying by. It's kind of higher up, so you can't really hear much. But yeah, I just always had that fear of rejection. And I think that's the thing that most people can probably say they went through. It's really hard growing up having to deal with something like that. And I learned certain techniques to get over it. Because I realized this is just who I am. That's my body. There's always room for improvement, and I'm not just accepting that I'm not going to be overweight my whole life. But at the time, you still got to work on trying to make friendships and work on relationships or with anyone. At that age, it's always good to get out of your little bubble that you made and break through it and push yourself and try to make friends. And that didn't really actually happen until, I'd say, middle school. I really pushed it and really tried to make closer friends, and Jonas is one of them, for example. I met Jonas in the 7th grade, and believe it or not, in the beginning, we weren't actually really friends. And I don't know if I'll tell the story correctly, but in the beginning, we kind of didn't get along. And I don't really know. I think that's just kind of funny how it worked out that way, but I might be remembering it wrong. But in the beginning, Jonas and I were actually we're not really nice to each other, but eventually that bond kind of happened slowly as we met, and we it kind of formulated that way. I think it really got strong when we started making videos together, and our first video we ever made was called Ching Chang Wah, and it was a joke. We were just making videos for fun, making little skits, and this video was him rapping, and he came up with a rap, and I got my camera. I was like, oh, this is so cool. He strapped on his leather jacket and his hat, and he rapped in front of the camera while I was recording, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And then I was just beginning editing, so I didn't really understand let's add some good music. So I just added it was like the most basic audio I could find. It was like some song that was it comes pre-built into the computer. I think back at the time we were using a Windows, I don't think it was Windows 8 or something like that. I can't remember, but I know that whatever the music was on there was something that did not go well with rap at all, but I thought it was funny, so I threw it in there, and then boom, Ching Ching Awa was created. Of course, I added ridiculous, stupid effects like black and white and a whole bunch of transitions and stuff, and just some basic stuff. But I just thought that was really cool, so I put that together, and then throughout our little school we went to, it was called Montessori Charter School. Really small school, almost like a little private school, but it wasn't really private. It was a charter school, but it was not very many students. I think the max amount of students there was 50. Might have been more, but I remember it was 50 kids. But yeah, it was, as you could believe it, since it's such a small, up close setting, everyone's kind of all up in your face a little bit because you're in such a small school. Everyone kind of knows everything about you. So yeah, our videos kind of got, we definitely told people about it, but all we had to do is tell one person, and then the whole school found out about it, and then they're like, oh wow, this funny video, and then it kind of blew up. And that's what really got me into making videos, because I like making people laugh, as I kind of referenced before in the past episode. I loved making people laugh. So how that kind of blew up was really cool. And that's when Jonas and I we realized, oh shit, we have something here. And that was the bond that really got us through, I'd say all the way up until, I'd say, junior year of high school. And then we kind of stopped because, I don't know, when things get old, I think we were just drifting, and then we started doing music together. That was kind of a little bit further ahead, but because we were doing music, we started making music together back in 2013, I think. I think that's when we first started doing it, maybe even back to 2012, because I remember he would always used to play around with the keyboard, and he'd always make funny or really cool tunes and stuff like that, and I always thought it was really awesome. So anyways, it kind of grew gradually, and for making videos kind of grew as as we got older, and we just kept on making videos. It was kind of over the weekend, we're oh, we're gonna hang out, dude, we gotta make this video, we gotta make it. And we had a whole script and everything. And back at the time, I really wasn't the biggest writer. I didn't really write stuff. I didn't really do much as I do now. I love writing things now, but back in the day, I didn't like anything that revolved around school. And when I looked at writing, it reminded me of school, and I hated school. And that of course changed in college. I eventually loved school, but I realized all these little things come together, and you got to write something in order to have that idea come to fruition. But yeah, that's kind of how I met Jonas. But that was my only, like, Jonas was my only close friend throughout high school. I mean, take that back. I had other close friends later on. That was like near my senior year, and that was Tyler. And he has been in a couple videos in the past. He was a cameraman for a Tragic Time series that we made. He was a great guy, and he taught me a lot. But that was way later on, before Jonas, before Tyler, with just Jonas. Like, he was basically my only close friend. And I have had other friends, like, all at these other different schools I went to, because I transferred to multiple different schools. After 7th grade, I actually changed to a school called Fala, and then some stuff happened, which I'm not really going to go into too much detail there, because there's a lot of things that are just going to be left in the past. But a whole bunch of crap happened at Fala, and then I moved to and then they moved me into FHS after I was actually moved into an online school, but I did terrible on that, so they moved me to FHS, and then we moved. My family was like, oh, actually, we're going to move to Sedona. And I was like, oh, shit. So then I had to start all over square one, Sedona, and make new friends down there. And I didn't really try anymore in Sedona, Red Rock. And if anyone who's listening that went there and remembers me, I didn't really try to make friends because I've been moving so much, and I was like, screw it. Okay, I only have two more years. I'm going to get through it. And I didn't really care at that point. I was friendly, but I didn't ever really invite people to, like, hang out after school. And I know it kind of doesn't make sense, because I would hang out with Tyler, but we didn't really hang out. I didn't really hang out with Tyler outside of school until I didn't hang out with Tyler outside of school until I was like after I graduated, and then he was still like in his senior year, I think, or something like that. He's a little bit younger than me, and I was like kind of like a little bit older than him, but yeah, he was still in high school, but we still hung out because he was really cool. I think he actually, looking back, I think he might have reached out to me, because he was like, I don't know, it was like through the DMs of Instagram or something, and he like, hey, dude, you remember me? Because we got along in class, and like he would always like the videos I made in our film class back at Sedona Red Rock, and like it was always such a good time with Tyler. Tyler's a cool guy. He's so nice, and he's really great. He's a really great person. But anyways, going back, like, yeah, Jonas was my only friend throughout my entire childhood that I was close with, that I like invited into my family. Now, I did have other friends, and I'm not gonna reference their names because I don't want to get too far into, but they were close, but I didn't really put as much energy into going further with them, and it had nothing to do with them. It was more so I was just so distracted with my art and making videos and music and stuff like that with Jonas that I just didn't really grow too far much with those those friendships. So like I didn't really get as strong as a bond with them as I did with Jonas. But they were still great people too, and I love them to death. I haven't seen them in a while. It's been a long time. I think I might have crashed at one of their places during college, and we hung out a little bit, and really awesome people. But I just throughout my childhood, I just didn't really get to know them as closely as I did with other people like Jonas. They actually did invite me to their house and stuff, and I hang out with them all the time, but it wasn't like we didn't hang out as much as like when comparing it to Jonas, because I think it was like our bond with Jonas and I, like our bond was like so close, because we weren't just hanging out, we were creating things together, we were creating videos, we were creating music, and those things last forever. They don't go away. So it's like we're like, it sounds a little weird, but we're basically getting birth to art together. But yeah, like those things stick around, and they bring good memories, and we have good memories on all the creations. And we have Jonas and I, we have like basically, if you really think about it, it's hard to explain, but if you ever had that friend that so well that you guys start making like inside jokes and like memes about the certain things you've done in the past, like maybe an event that happened, or like for example with us, we'd make a video and we thought it was really hilarious throughout the years, and then we just started making memes about them, and that's kind of like what happened with us, and that explains our friendship. Now, I know I need to start progressing through this podcast because time goes by really fast. So for the next part, I'll go more into, like how it. For the next part, I'll go more into like how this has changed as I'm an adult now. So I'll first ease into the ending of high school years and then college, and then I'll go to the present day. So basically, near the end of high school, Jonas and I still hung out. We hung out a lot. I think things didn't really slow down until I would say maybe the end of high school. No, because we're still hanging, because we actually went to college together. We both went to Yavapai College together. He actually lived in a casita with us for a little bit. I lived in a casita outside my parents' house back in my first year of college when I was still going to, sorry about that plane. Okay, so near the end of high school, we didn't really, hang out as much, but we still hung out like ever so often. We would hang out like once every weekend or so. And that we're still strong friends today, but it's definitely changed because living situation. I live pretty far away from him. Anyways, moving past Jonas. Jonas is my good friend, and when it comes to socializing, it was hard for me to make close friends. I'd say I could be friendly with anyone, and I could make friends any day long. I could be friendly. But does that mean that we're going to be hanging out after school all the time? No. That wasn't me. I was kind of an introvert when it comes to going home. I just liked my alone time as much as I liked going out. I really tried to push myself out there, especially definitely in college and definitely near the end of high school, but there's still a lot that I could have done, and there's some regrets I have. Like, I wish I would have been a little bit more social in high school and gotten to know more people, but at the same time, like, I was just so focused on my art, so focused in making videos and making music. I just thought it was so fun. I looking back, it was a blur. I just was so focused on it. So I think that was one of the biggest reasons. It was like, I have this one good thing going for me, and as much as I want to go make friends, I want to do this too. So it's like I chose my art over making more friends. So that's what I did. And some other people chose to be more social and hang out and go to parties and stuff. And I did go to parties, but not as much as the normal high school person. I wasn't popular. My older brother was. He was very popular in high school, and it was funny because when I would go down the halls in FHS, they would always be like, "Oh, look, it's Mac's little brother." They would never say like, "Oh, that's Bash." Sometimes they would be. If they knew me, if they knew our family, and they were like a little bit more close, they'd be like, "Oh, that's Bash." But the people that knew Mac just from his popularity, they would just be like, "Oh, that's Mac's little brother," which I thought was kind of funny. But that's how it goes. That's just the life of high school, and I didn't let it get too much. I didn't let it get to me too much because it's not a big deal to me. I was just so focused on making art, and being happy was actually a thing that wasn't always with me, like I've told you guys in the past. And once I learned how to be happy, and once I learned what true happiness is, and that was, I think, because even in college I struggled with that. It wasn't until recently, maybe like my last year of college, I kind of started realizing what the true meaning of happiness is, and that is doing things that you love, and experiencing things with people that you love, and making memories with them, and having as much memories as you can on this earth, because life is short. You gotta have good times with your family, have good times with the people you love, your significant others, your people that you love, and people that you live with, and whatever. It's always good to have those experiences. So this linking it back to reasons to be happy, this is a big thing, because I was still happy even though I didn't have very many friends. I was very friendly with everyone, and I had friends within the school, but I didn't let all of them into my world. I didn't let them back into, where I live. I just was friendly with them and had a friendship with them at high school, or I was just friendly with them and I had a friendship with them within the high school, but I didn't really take it further than that. But how does that impact my happiness? Well, there was moments, very sad moments where, I was alone the weekend, and everyone was at parties. I would see it on Snapchat and social media, Instagram, at parties, and I wasn't there, and it didn't make me feel lonely. It did make me feel like I'm missing out. But I just realized, you know what? I can't let this get me down, and just because I wasn't invited to something doesn't mean I'm not important. That's just how it is. Hey, down. I got a kitty up here, and he's getting on the mic. Get down. Down. Down, Burden. Down. Down. Sorry about that. The cat was attacking the mic. But anyways, yeah, so I can't let that get to me, because just because I wasn't invited to something, just because I wasn't the most popular person, doesn't mean I don't have value. And that's for all of you guys listening. You got to understand, if you're in a position like in high school right now, or wherever you are in life, just realize that life is too short to worry about those kind of things, because you just got to enjoy what you like to do. And if you want to be that social guy and that's what you're missing out, or girl, then go and force yourself to be that person, or work on it and make more friends and try to be close. I didn't, though, and that was my self-choice. I didn't want to be close, and I didn't want to act like someone I wasn't, because that's not who I am. I'm just going to do what I want to do and be who I want to be, and that's what I learned. You can't let these things get you down, because like I said, life is too short, and true happiness is found when you learn that not everything happens the way you want it to happen. You got to respect the world the way it was served to you. No matter how messed up it can be, or how hard it was, you got to realize everything happens for a reason. And you got to realize that sometimes things don't happen the way you want them to happen, and that is the way it is. And once you find that, and you find peace in that, then you'll be happy. And then you'll understand that we're all living on the same planet, and when we're all here in the same world, we should always learn to be happy with that result, and be happy that we are breathing creatures in this amazing world, just being able to get up and walk somewhere, just being able to get up and experience this world with trees and nature and birds and all these crazy things that literally before I was even born. Try and imagine a world like this. That's insane. We have cars, we have automobiles that could drive now. We have we have cell phones that connect to the internet, and we could be connected with anyone at any moment. We have TVs where we have endless supplies of videos and endless supplies of movies that we have at the touch of our fingertips. Just we can watch at any moment. It's just amazing. And once you realize that we have all of this, then you will start to be more happy, and then you will realize that there are a lot of reasons to be happy. Because just because I had problems socializing as a kid doesn't mean that whatever I did back then is going to impact who I am now. Because I am very happy now, as much as the grass can be greener, but the grass could always be greener. And having that mindset that, I'm unsatisfied, I want it to be more happy, I want more, and that's happening a lot in our country right now. And not just our country, the whole world. People aren't satisfied with their lives, and then it just leads to chaos, because it leads to divorce. It leads to more than just divorce, but it leads to just people being unhappy. And this is caused from social media always pushing out the best outcome for everything, because everyone's trying to look their best on a photo. Everyone's trying to look their best in a post. Everyone's trying to act their best in a video. Everyone's trying to act their best doing anything. I try to be as real as possible with you. The only thing that I write out is the beginning intros for the podcast, so that I can set the mood and have a organized structure to talk about. Because if I don't, then I'm all over the place. And even with that, I still go all over the place because I'm new to this, and I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to grow from. But it's always important to never steer away from finding true happiness, because that is what life is about. God put us here, God put us here to learn things. God put us here to grow as a person, as a soul, and find our purpose. But not only have a purpose, but to also know when to make sacrifices when you bring others into this world. Yes, I'm talking about if you bring kids into this world, you got to learn how to make those sacrifices to make their lives good. At that point, you were raising another person. You were raising them into this world. You got to make those sacrifices. And that is a big problem we have in this world, with parents not making those sacrifices. And then you end up with kids that didn't have a good childhood and did not have everything that they needed to grow in this crazy world that we're in, that is really hard to get by. Especially nowadays with how expensive everything is. You really want to be a good role model, and you really got to show them how to be an adult before they're out of the house. And you don't want to restrict them from living the world, because then they'll never know how crazy the world is. And also, restrict a kid, and then they'll rebel. And then the rebellion is terrible, because then they'll get into bad stuff, drugs, whatever. They hang out with the wrong crowd, gangs, whatever. They get sucked into this whole societal structure of destruction. And that is a big problem I see today. And that is why you gotta have, you gotta build a respectful connection with your kids if you ever do have kids. And that goes along with anything. It's a little bit different with dogs and animals, but it's still similar in the same fact that you still got to feed your dogs. You still got to take care of them. You don't want to neglect your dogs, or else they'll become they can become very angry, cruel. They can become very vicious, because they're not being fed, and they're very mean and mad at the world because they're having a terrible life. And that goes along with anything. You got to treat your kids well, you got to treat your dogs well, you got to treat anything well if you're taking care of them. And that is the reason that God put us here, is to learn these basic rules, and to learn to be faithful to the person that you love, be faithful to your family, be faithful to your friends, anyone, and realize what you always do the right thing. And that is what will bring happiness to you, knowing that you could sleep at night, knowing that you did your job right, and you did it, and you are in a good place, and you know that you are gonna have that, you could sleep knowing that everything is gonna be okay, because you're doing your job right. And no matter what barriers put in front of you, you could always work it out and always figure out the best outcome for what you got to do. Because listen, the world isn't perfect, the world isn't sound. I'm not just some guy coming out here telling you that it's so easy, it's so easy to do this, so easy to do that. No, I'm just some ordinary generic guy, like I've told you before. I'm just some ordinary guy giving some basic advice. I'm not really always right about things, and I will come out and say it, because I'm a human being, and human beings aren't right about everything. But linking all this back to me being a kid and not being able to socialize throughout elementary school and high school, in parts of college, actually, even today, now, currently, in my current life status, I am definitely still struggling to have friends. The only friends I have is my fiance, Jonas, still, but we don't really hang out very much. And then I also have My family, they're all my friends, as much as I love them more than friends because they're my family. I love them to death. And I love, Harley to death as well, my fiance. But, all of her family, they're friends. And, I have some friends at work, but they're, I'm not to the point where I let them come home and like, hey, let's go golfing, or hey, let's go play some pickleball or some tennis or something. I'm not like that. I'm friendly in the workplace, but when it comes to, even to this day, with most people, I have a strict line of how far I go with new people. I have that bubble still because, quite frankly, having a friend nowadays, for me, takes a lot of energy. And I'm already a busy guy alone with my job, having to go to work all the time. I work Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 4, and it's like, every day seems like a long day. And I have the weekends, but the weekends are the times I relax. I sleep and I get stuff done. I do my podcast. I do a lot of things, and I'm just not a really free guy anymore, as much as it comes down to it. And I don't want to have people ever think that it's a personal thing when they meet me. It's not. It's just who I am. I just don't have room for friendship to be frank with it. I have those boundaries because I have so many things I got to do, and it's hard to balance. And I'm still having that struggle. Like, how do I balance this? Like, having this job that I'm always working and coming home and friends. It's just really hard. But most of my friends understand that. Jonas understands that, and even he's busy. He has a crazy schedule. Always going on tour with his new band and everything like that. So it's a hard world, especially with the gas prices. He lives all the way. I'm not gonna say where he lives, but he lives pretty far away from me. Like I'd say like an hour away because of traffic. Maybe at night it wouldn't be so far, but it usually takes about an hour to get over there. And it's just how it ends up. And my place with friends, my closest friend right now in my life is my fiance, and behind that is my family, and then of course Jonas and Tyler. And when it comes to all that, I just don't really have very many friends, just because that's just who I am as a person. And I am not complaining because I'm still happy. I'm already fulfilled in life. I don't want any more friends because it's just too much for me. Just with everything I got to balance in life right now, it's just too much. And I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. Maybe not everyone. Maybe one day when I get a job that is only part-time and I have other time to do more stuff for the channel and other things that I really want to do, then I'll have more time to have more friends. But for me, right now, this is what I've decided to be, and this is what I decided to do, and I'm happy, and I think that's all that matters. And I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm just ignoring them or trying to push them away on purpose, because it's not on purpose. I don't want to hurt anyone by getting too close right now, because if I get too close to someone, then they want to hang out, and then I feel bad because, like, shit, I really just need this time to myself. As much as it sounds selfish, that's just who I am. That's who I've always been. And in high school, I had the time to do more stuff with other people, and I had the time to explore more. But now I'm basically, as much as everyone falls in this, everyone is in this position at my age. I'm 25 years old, but you kind of become a slave to the system, and that's where I am. I'm on the hamster wheel, and I'm always needing to feel like I need a break. But when I want that break alone or with my fiance, not too many people. And even when I was growing up, I didn't really like going to big parties. I liked hangouts. I liked hanging out with people in smaller groups, because that's just how I've always been. It's just who I am, and I don't want to change because I am happy this way. But maybe in the future, when I have the ability to have more time on my hands with a different career, then I can make more room for hangouts with other people, but I'm just not a social person, and it's kind of the way I am. And I think a lot of people need to accept who they are, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I know I could be more social. I know I could make more friends and make that time. But in the position I am right now, I don't see a need for it because I'm already happy. I already found the happiness that I need to move forward with my life, and I think that's all. That's all what matters. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but if you could relate, then please leave a comment below. It would mean the world to me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I was kind of all over the place because I took such a giant subject to talk about. There was so many things I got to talk about. But hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I did, just let me know. I'll just have to talk about it more in a different episode. But thank you so much. Please subscribe. Please drop a like on this video. It would mean the world. I hope you guys find a way to stay happy in such a crazy world we're in. It could be hard, and I understand. Sometimes I feel that I get stuck in that loop, and I just don't know what I'm gonna do, and then it could lead to being unhappy. And I can't just lie here and say that I haven't been unhappy lately, because I have sometimes when it comes to especially the hamster wheel I was talking about a few minutes ago. Just like it sucks being a slave to the system. It sucks not doing fully what I want to do, because this is what I want to do. I want to help people in a podcast or whatever, videos. But right now, I've been really liking this podcast idea. So I really want to help people in the world. And using my gifts to do so would make me even happier, because that is my life's duty. That is my life's calling. And anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And thanks for tuning in. I will put out a new episode soon. I'm not going to do a schedule I decided, because I think from this episode you could kind of determine that some weeks I'm just too tired to do so, and that's just how it goes. But please still consider subscribing, because I'm still going to put them out every so often. I'm going to really try to make this a goal. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and always find a reason to be happy, and always find a reason to smile. Love you guys so much. Tuning off. I'm someone new. I must stay true.